Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about fragrances that I either regret buying, like some that just I think were kind of bad, and others that I don't think actually smell bad. I just really struggle to reach for them. If anything, I'll wear them kind of out of guilt. I really don't want to wear them most of the time. I'm just kind of like, let's throw this on, see if it'll grow on me. And these are all these fragrances. I've spent a minimum of 3 months with all of these. Actually, all these fragrances I've had, every single one here I've had for at least 6 months. So I've given them their time. I've tried to give them a chance. And it's just like, I think the only two exceptions are probably these two right here. These two I'll still kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll reach for them here and there. But everything else is kind of like, I'm not too fond of. So, starting out with the worst fragrance that I have bought that got hyped to death like 9 months ago. No, probably about a year ago. And this is Lumiere Garçon. I think this is by French Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, by French Avenue. So this is supposed to be a clone of the One Luminous Night, which was a limited edition by Dolce & Gabbana. And man, I tried to give this thing a chance. I think it's the mix. Like, I still want to smell the One Luminous Night. I don't know if I ever will, because I know it's really hard to get. But I think it's more than anything the way they mixed it. So this feels like it's the sweetness and the soapiness here clash in a very like nasty way. I can almost like taste this fragrance when I smell it. And it just tastes like I literally ate something sweet and put a little bit of soap, like covering whatever I just ate. Like literally a little bit of hand soap covering what I just put in my mouth. Pause. But I can't do it, man. I think the mix is off. I do like some fragrances that maybe have a little bit of sweetness and some soapiness in there with it. But this just feels really sweet and really soapy. And I think it's an L. Like, I can't recommend this to anybody. This is like I don't even want to rate this. This is like a literally zero. This is like a 0 out of 10. I can't wear this. It's terrible. The next one, which this is going to be controversial. The next one is Game of Spades Wild Card. It's not that it doesn't smell close. I think it actually gets really close, like 85-90% close to Lafayette Street by Bond Number 9. I think my main tug with this, man, is that 10% is so important. Like, the 10% that's missing is so important for what I actually like about Lafayette Street. In my opinion, the part that's missing is it's not dark enough. And that 10% makes such a big difference here. And like, for me, this is an L. I've tried to give this a chance. I've worn it at least 7 times. No, probably about 5. I probably worn, to be honest, probably about 5 times in the last 6 months. I try to give it a chance, man, and it's just, The real one I really like, but the missing of the depth and the darkness in this, and this is an expensive clone, dude. This was like a $60 clone. So like, considering the price point too, this was awful. I really struggle to wear this. I've tried to let it grow on me. It's obviously macerated. It's just not it, man. Same with this one. This one was kind of expensive. This one was like a $40 clone, the Lumiere Garçon. So these two were by far, like, these are kind of in their own category. These two were like definite L's for me. I just did not like them at all. The next one is the Cupbearer. This is a Dua interpretation of Ganymede. I don't even think it's a bad fragrance. I just, in general, this was really my first exposure to like mineralic notes, like very mineralic fragrances. It's done very well. It's smooth. It's not that it smells bad. I'm just not a fan of the whole mineralic, I guess, avenue, Maybe you guys put me on. If you guys know any like good mineralic fragrances that I should try, let me know. But I think this one I can kind of just chalk it up to me not really liking the whole mineralic side of fragrances. So this one's like, it's an L, but also not. Like, I think if you like that kind of mineralic, maybe a little bit of sweetness, aromatic type of feel, you'd probably really like this. So this is called the Cupbearer by Dua. the Dua brand. Like I said, these two are kind of in their own category. Those were definite L's. This one I actually don't think is an L. It's just not my cup of tea. So I'm gonna put this in another category. There's gonna be 4 categories here, basically. All right, so these two are gonna be in their own category. This is Rare Carbon by, I think Afnon. Yep, by Afnon. This is supposed to be a dupe of Tom Ford. I can't remember what it's called, but it's their violety, leathery fragrance. I'm kind of blanking out right now. But yeah, this is like a violety, leathery, sweet fragrance. And I just don't think, kind of the same deal. I don't think it captures the leather enough, and it leans more into the violet. And at first I kind of liked it, but over time I just kind of like, this isn't it, man. And I would kind of find myself wearing this out of guilt. So I have worn it a good bit, but mainly out of guilt. Not really because I enjoyed it. I was like, all right, let's see if it'll grow on me. Let's see if it'll grow on me. But it's just too violet heavy for my liking. But I don't think it's a bad fragrance. It's just not me. So like I said, these are the only two I would say were actually bad fragrances. The Game of Spades Wildcard and Lumiere Garçon. Everything else isn't necessarily a bad fragrance. I kind of regret buying it. I don't really wear it, or I'll wear it out of guilt, like I said. So this is the first one I would say I really wear out of guilt. And I just, not actually that I wear out of guilt and I actually regret buying. So everything except for these two are the ones I can say, like, I don't regret buying them, but I still wear them out of guilt. So the next one that I regret buying and kind of wear out of guilt, which is surprising because I actually really like this. This was one of the first fragrances I reviewed on this channel. This is Amir Al Oud by Lattafa, Amir Al Oud Intense Oud. And this is their interpretation on By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela, if I'm not mistaken, the replica line. As I said in those reviews, this is, like I said, this is one of the first ones I really reviewed on this channel. As I said in those reviews, I don't think it's a bad fragrance. The thing is, it captures only the dry down of By the Fireplace, which I really like the dry down, but even then, I think it's still not dark enough. So kind of the same thing with Game of Spades, like the darkness of By the Fireplace, even through the dry down, kind of that smoky, dark, burnt essence, it makes a big difference, and it's missing here. And I really liked it when I first got my nose on it. I was like, "Ooh, this is good. This was a steal." It was like a $17 clone. Like I thought I hit the lottery here. But over time, I realized that it's too sweet, too marshmallowy, and there's not enough kind of depth. It's a linear fragrance, which kind of makes it, for me to like a linear fragrance, I have to really like the scent profile. If this was darker, even though it's linear, I would really enjoy it a lot more. But since it's kind of bubblegummy, almost like it's very bubblegummy, marshmallowy, sweet interpretation of By the Fireplace, I think I struggled to enjoy it now that I've really spent some time with it. I just wish it was smokier. So yeah, this one I regret buying it. I really do. It's not bad. Like I said, the only bad ones are the first two. All the rest of these are not bad. I just they don't really do it for me. So the last two that I don't regret buying these, but I still do wear them out of kind of guilt. I have such a big collection that I wear these definitely way more than all of these. I've worn both of these more combined than the rest of these. So the first one is Jasor by Lattafa. Love the bottle. I think it's very unique. Looks dope. This one I think is just same thing. I struggle with linear fragrances. And for something to be linear, I have to really like it, man. And a lot of clones tend to be pretty linear, but I have to really like the profile to enjoy it. This one just comes off really, I hate to say synthetic, right? Because every fragrance has a kind of synthetic feel to it, unless you go to very high-end, kind of niche, or, certain designers. But this one just comes off like, it's very simple. Like I said, it doesn't develop in any way, and it's just kind of like a little screechy and synthetic. And I find myself mainly wearing this out of guilt. It doesn't smell bad though. Like I throw it on and I'm like, okay, cool. But I don't know, man. It's just like an appley, sweet fragrance, a little bit of spice, but it just feels really screechy. And yeah, I don't enjoy wearing it too much. So I mainly wear it, like I said, out of guilt. The next one is Assad Bourbon. Now this one almost didn't even make it on this list because I actually do like this one significantly more than the rest of these. The reason this one made it on the list is because I feel like I still wear it out of guilt. So yeah, it's Assad Bourbon by Lattafa. This is an interpretation of, it's actually a mixture of things. I want to say one of them is Scandal, if I'm not mistaken, one of the Scandal fragrances. I actually can't remember. This is like a duo or a tribrid. It's been so long since I really kind of looked into what this was duping. But yeah, this is like a duo tribrid. It's basically just a very ambery, spicy, kind of warm scent profile. This one almost didn't make it on the list. Like I said, it's actually pretty good. I like it, especially for fall time. I think this is pretty good. You can get it pretty cheap. It's like 25 bucks, 30 bucks. But I still find myself wearing this kind of out of guilt. It's just not one that I love, you know? And just some insight, man, that I've gotten as I kind of slowed down on buying fragrances and just said, you know, I'm going to take my time. And I'm going to start just really trying to do it smarter. You know, whatever I buy, I want to be a lot smarter about it, especially with dupes. Because at this point, I'm mainly buying dupes. I have a few niche. I got a good bit of designer. But lately, I've just been leaning into dupes, you know. I don't want to freaking drop a house payment on fragrances anymore. But the main thing I'll kind of pass along, guys, that I've noticed lately is I feel like a lot of people get fixated on trying to find the one-to-one dupe. And eventually, once you have a big enough collection and you kind of once you start to discover a lot of things, that's why, like, I'm not mad at this. I got to discover kind of a mineralic fragrance that I had never really gotten my nose on anything like it before. And it made me realize I'm just not a big fan of mineralic fragrances. Like I said, if you guys have any that you recommend, let me know. Same with Violet, man. Like, I'm not a big fan of Violet heavy fragrances. And this made me realize, like, Violet's just kind of not my note. But really the point I want to make is eventually, once you get a big enough collection and you start to understand what you lean towards. So I know now I love ambers. Now that I have a really big collection, I know I love ambers. I like spicy. Vanillas, can't go wrong with it. And I like boozy notes. I like boozy, aromatic. Like, you kind of just start to get a feel for what you really like. I usually don't like super dark fragrances. Like, my darkest fragrance at the moment is probably Afro Leather, which is a dupe of African Leather. That's probably the darkest one I have at the moment. And even that one, I usually end up layering it with something lighter, something brighter. So yeah, eventually you kind of get a feel for what you like. And the main thing I want to say is don't always try to go for the one-to-one clone. You know, I think a lot of times we get so fixated on trying to find I want to find the one that's 95% close to the real thing, 90% close to the real thing. I've kind of changed my mindset on that lately because at the end of the day, if there's a twist on a fragrance that's going to take it more towards something that you'll probably end up liking more, I would say go for the twist. Like, for example, the Imagination clones. There's so many at this point. Yeah, they say Marwa is kind of the one that gets the closest, but for me, since I like kind of fresh, spicy, I kind of want to lean more into the Cobra clone from Rasasi, the Hawass Cobra, because I know what I like. I like that kind of a little bit thicker, spicy, more ambery, where Imagination's more soapy and kind of aromatic. So sometimes, like I said, just going for the one-to-one isn't always going to be the best option. Because I think some fragrances, some clone houses, they do a really good job at making fragrances that get really close to the real thing, but then they're like, oh, you know what? If we made this a little bit spicier, ooh, I could see that being really good. Or, oh, if we made this a little bit more citrusy, I could see that being really good. So I actually like the clones that try to go more for a spin of, have their own twist on a DNA instead of trying to do a one-to-one, because either way, there's very few clones that actually get to be a one-to-one. Another great example, real quick, I gotta go get this one because I think this is actually the best example I have in my collection. So I'll be right back. Let me just get this off the shelf. So, this is a great example. I don't have Vulcan Fue, but Ophidian Mango Bliss. This is a God of Fire clone. I'm so glad I have this and I didn't buy Vulcan Fue, because I'm not trying to have 5 of, if it's my favorite DNAs, I'll get 5 of them. Like I probably have 5. Yeah, I have like 5 Angel Share clones because I just love that DNA, man. But any other fragrance and any other DNA, if I don't love it, I don't want to have a bunch of versions of it, you know. I'm so glad I got Ophidian Mango Bliss, which was one of the first ones they made. And at first, when I got it, I absolutely loved it. And then eventually I saw that they started getting more and more clones of God of Fire coming out. And I was kind of upset. I was like, dang, dude, I should have waited. So I could have gotten Spectre, or I could have gotten Vulcan Fue. I could have gotten some of these other ones, Mango Ice. But as I've really listened to the reviewers kind of do Clone Wars and compare the different clones of God of Fire, I think I got the best one, dude. The one that's best for me. Where, from my understanding, Vulcan Fue and some of these other ones, they tend to be very sweet, bright, kind of bubblegummy, and almost like leaning more unisex. This is the most masculine leaning. What the heck? Sorry about that. This is the most masculine leaning one from my understanding. This one's very woody, spicy, and it's like a juicy mango, not like a super sweet mango. So for those of you guys that don't like super unisex fragrances, Ophidian Mango Bliss is probably the best option for you if you want that God of Fire DNA, you know? So just something to think about, man. I think this was probably the first fragrance in my collection that really showed me that about 1.5 years ago when I got this. Like this is not unisex. I don't think women would want to wear this. But it's beautiful, man. It's probably only about 80% close to God of Fire. 85, probably about 85% close. But the twist, that 15% that's off is coming in clutch. Like it's doing it a favor, I promise. And I'm just really glad I got this one, you know. But yeah, guys, just kind of a topic I wanted to talk about. As I've sat with some of these, I've tried to give them time. I'm like, this isn't it, man. This one, just poorly mixed. Like I said, wild card, this was probably the biggest letdown because it was so expensive. It's just the 10% that's missing is probably the most important part. So just can't do it, man. I need that darkness of Lafayette Street to enjoy this. And the darkness is what's missing. That's the 10% that's missing. Same thing with this, Amir Al Oud. This is pretty close. It smells just like the dry down, maybe a little bit more watered down than the actual dry down of By the Fireplace. What's missing is what makes By the Fireplace. That kind of darker, smoky, the kind of darker, smoky notes. It needs that to really capture By the Fireplace. And yeah, guys, like I said, just don't always, I think, like I said, eventually, while you're first building your collection, you might not really know what you lean towards. But eventually, once you get a good idea of what you like, don't go for the one-to-one always, unless you just know you love the original fragrance. But at a certain point, go for the twist that you think you're gonna like more, because it doesn't matter how close it is. What matters is how much do you like the fragrance. Like, I've worn the crap out of this. I need to get another bottle soon. And if you've seen some of my other videos, I layer with this a lot. Like, this is a layering masterpiece. I love layering with this fragrance. So yeah, guys, that's it for this one. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.